What is going on, everybody? And today we're going to be talking about some pretty important news regarding Six Flags and how they sold 7 of their parks to EPR, which is a different company. But so basically, Six Flags, couple of days ago, they sent out a press release saying that they have sold 7 of their parks to EPR, which is a different company. So 7 of those parks will not be in Six Flags anymore, will not be owned by Six Flags anymore. But before we even get into that, let's just take a look what they're firstly saying here in this press release. So it says, looking forward, a new chapter for Six Flags. At Six Flags, creating unforgettable moments has always been at the heart of everything we do. Every twist, turn, splash, and scream-worthy drop is driven by one mission, bringing joy to millions of guests and families year after year. So that is just what they're first saying here, and it's kind of saying the same thing there. And it says, today we're sharing an important update about the future of Six Flags, one that strengthens our foundation, sharpens our focus, and supports long-term growth across our parks. And then down here, it is saying that as part of our ongoing strategy to optimize and strengthen our park portfolio, Six Flags has entered into definitive agreements to sell 7 parks to EPR properties. These parks include, and then it says, Michigan's Adventure, Schlitterbahn, Six Flags Great Escape, Six Flags Luron, Six Flags St. Louis, Valley Fair, and Worlds of Fun. So those are the 7 parks that will not be in Six Flags anymore. So kind of the pattern that I'm seeing in these parks they list is that these are the parks that are not on the high tier of Six Flags. They're not going to be like Six Flags, say, even Great Adventure. I mean, Great Adventure right now is kind of on a lower state. I think they will move their way up as they get more rides, more coasters, but maybe something like Cedar Point, obviously, Kings Island, or Six Flags Great America, Six Flags Magic Mountain, parks like that are very popular and have some great rides and have pretty good attendance. And these parks are kind of the opposite. Michigan's Adventure, they get enough people. They just don't have amazing rides. I mean, they have Shivering Timbers. They do have an SLC, but this is not like a park that everyone's always talking about. It's honestly a park that not a lot of people really talk about. Schlitterbahn, Six Flags Great Escape. That park, Six Flags Great Escape, it's a great park. It's a nice family park. It really doesn't really give off a lot of Six Flags vibes. When you think of Six Flags, you think thrilling rides, not really a family-oriented park. Cedar Fair was always more known as being a family park rather than Six Flags. But Great Escape honestly gave off more Cedar Fair vibes. Now, I know it's a Six Flags park now, and it was always a Six Flags park, but kind of gave off more family vibes. So Great Escape has some great rides. It just got Bobcat in 2024, which is a great ride. It's a really cool themed park. There's a lot of things to do there that just not just for rides. It's great for little kids. If you are going to the park, you can bring all ages, and they will find something to do. It's a great park for that. Luron, again, not one of the most popular parks. St. Louis, one of the lower tier Six Flags parks. Valley Fair and Worlds of Fun, again, one of the lower tier Six Flags / Cedar Fair parks. So one thing that I noticed is that Dorney is not on here, Dorney Park, which I'm very grateful for, obviously, because that's one of my home parks, and I would hate to see it be on a list where it's going to get sold, so I have to get a separate pass and not just be able to get one pass for, say, Great Adventure, and it gives me access to all the parks, which I love, and also just thinking that one of my home parks is being sold off. Definitely would not want that to happen. So really, really glad that that park is not on here. But like I said, those are the 7 parks that are not going to be owned by Six Flags anymore. But let's just scroll down a little bit and kind of tell you guys what this means for our guests, which it says right here. So it says, first and foremost, guest experience remains a top priority. So it says EPR Properties will partner with experienced operators in Enchanted Parks for the 6 U.S. parks and Luron operations. For Luron, to ensure a smooth and seamless transition. Here's what you can expect. So right now it's going to stay the same. There's not really going to be anything changing for the 2026 season. Now when the 2027 season rolls around, that's when we're going to start seeing some changes come around, and that's when passes are going to change. And so right now, if you guys are not aware, I didn't make a video on this, but I figured you guys probably watched a lot of the videos that came through. Now, there's 3 passes now for Six Flags. I made 3 of them. So say your home park is Great Adventure. You can have 3 options. You can either get just the pass for Great Adventure. You only want Great Adventure to have a pass for you. Or you can get the regional pass, which will give you access to a good amount of parks that are in the East Coast, and the farthest being Six Flags Over Georgia in Atlanta. But that gives you access to a lot of parks. And then there's the Prestige Pass, which is just the same as last year, where you can get access to all of the now 34 parks. Not that these 7 parks are now not going to be gone. But for the 2026 season, it's still the 42 parks. But once 2027 season rolls around, then it's going to be limited to just 34 parks. But for the 2026 season, it's still set. Everything stays the same. This does not affect the 2026 season. It's just saying that it's just giving us a little heads up, which I do appreciate. I wouldn't want, say, one of my home parks to be on here and then like a month before, say, closing day, it's like, you're not going to be able to have a pass here next season. So I'm really glad that they're putting this out here early. It says all 7 parks will continue normal operations for the 2026 season. All 2026 season passes and active memberships will be honored throughout 2026, including multi-park access. EPR retains the right to use Six Flags brand through the 2026 season, which means you will continue to see the same names, signage, and experiences during this transition period. So what they're saying there is that right now, in 2026 season, like I've been saying, everything stays the same names and signage, same of all of that. Now in the 2027 season, we might see some name changes, some signage changes, stuff like that. Probably where the Six Flags name won't be in the name anymore, especially for the Six Flags parks that are in the list. But then it just says a thoughtful decision. We understand how meaningful these parks are to the communities they serve and to the guests who have grown up visiting them. Our teams at these locations have created countless memories, and they are an important part of the Six Flags family. We are confident in the future of these parks. And basically what they're saying there is that the parks that they chose are parks that, like I've been saying, that are not doing too well in just the overall state of the park, and that maybe if they sold off these parks, they can kind of focus in more on the parks that have maybe better chances for innovation and just put it into a better state for just the overall experience of the guests. Now, the parks that they sold off, I think that they're kind of thinking, hey, maybe this company can give this park another chance, kind of a second chance in a way, from moving from Six Flags to a different company that maybe can give this park, a new feel to it or new rides or anything like that. So if we scroll down a little bit, there's the FAQs, which is basically just what it kind of is answered in the top a little bit, especially with the 2026 stuff. A lot of this stuff is just asking about the 2026 season, if it changes, anything like that. Now, there's some questions that you guys might have that are in the FAQs. If you want, you can literally just look up Six Flags press release for the selling of the 7 parks, and it'll show you all of this. If you want to look at it, I'm sure it's helpful for the people that want to look at this. But yeah, like I said, if I bought a regional pass and one of the parks has been sold, can I still use that pass to visit my park? All this kind of stuff. Can I change my home park for my membership? It's all going to say the same thing, that it's saying the same right now. It's just going to change later. Now, there's some questions on here that aren't really answered yet. They're to be determined, pretty much. Like this one, is my Donny Pass Fastlane Photo Pass drink plan still valid? And it says details on how these programs will be handled are still being worked through, and information will be shared prior to completion of the sale of these 7 parks. So, like I just said, they're still working through all the nooks and crannies, so it's going to come along, but they're still working through it. But really, the main thing is that things will start changing in the 2027 season. Right now, in the 2026 season, it really is all going to stay the same. But that is going to pretty much do it for this video regarding Six Flags selling 7 of their parks to EPR Company. So it's pretty big news, and I want to hear what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you guys think this is a good idea? Do you guys think this is bad for Six Flags to be doing this? Like, what do you guys think? But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, guys.